Almost 3 years after government reduced the benchmark values or delivery values of imports by 50%, except for vehicles which were reduced by 30%, the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA), through its Customs Division, is expected to implement the reversal of the policy which was introduced to reduce the menace of smuggling and make the country's ports more competitive and attractive. At the time of the announcement in April 2019, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, noted that the measure, in addition to others, had been taken after an extensive study of competitor ports in the West African sub-region in particular and similar ports across the continent. The study, he said, had revealed a worrying disadvantage for importers who chose to come to Tema. According to him, the benchmark values applied by customs at the time to various commodities in the computation of import duties in Tema were much higher than in Lomé, Abidjan and Dakar. In many cases, more than 100% to 200% higher. News of a drastic reduction in the benchmark values against which duties paid by importers in Ghana's ports are calculated was met with joy by the importing community, who believed it would lead to cost of goods reducing, and was met with disappointment by the manufacturing community in Ghana, who felt their products were going to be uncompetitive. The sentiments were reversed after the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, announced during his 2022 budget presentation on November 17, 2021, that the benchmark values of imports were going to be restored. According to the Finance Minister, the move will help promote growth of local industry.
After 2.5 years of operation, the temporary benchmark discount policy on imports introduced as a stopgap measure has been reviewed to make it more efficient and better targeted. This is consistent with government policy to promote local industry and improve foreign exchange earnings. We are committed to a program of turning our enterprising traders into manufacturers of widgets, tools, and other machinery necessary as inputs for our industrial growth.
About a month and a half after the Finance Minister's comment in Parliament, the GRA has announced to the trading community and the general public that its Customs Division will begin the implementation of government's policy directive on the reversal of the reduction of values of imports on selected items, otherwise known as the benchmark values, from Tuesday, January 4, 2022. The reversal will affect selected items from all the three categories on which the reversal was applied, including the home delivery value of vehicles, goods on which benchmark values are applied, and all other goods. The specific items to be affected include sugar, poultry, pasta, palm oil, roofing sheets, toilet paper, facial tissue and towel, chocolate, Portland cement, and mosquito coil. Other items also include vehicles, ceramic tiles, aluminum products, cartons, textiles, fruit juices, among others. In total, 43 items are expected to be affected. Chonam Cleanse Akpelu is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries AGI, and he has been sharing his thoughts on the need for a targeted reversal to be done.
What we'll be calling for is simple. We're saying that those goods that we do not produce in Ghana, you can always have a benchmark value on them. But those products like sanitary pads, okay, like rubber products, like cables, etc., that we produce in Ghana, it will make sense to make sure that anybody who is importing those products to the country do not enjoy incentives, importation incentives. That's our call. And we've been extremely consistent about that call. In the same vein, we're saying that for industry to thrive, we need raw materials. Some of these raw materials we have to import. So if we do not have the raw materials in Ghana, we have to import them. That it is only also proper that you maintain the benchmark value on those raw materials. So overall, we are extremely consistent with the National Industrialization Plan to ensure that Ghana become one of the biggest industrial destinations in Africa, given that the Continental Free Trade Agreement had meant that we produce and become competitive.
On his part, Dr. Joseph Obing, the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, described the timing as wrong.
The timing is very wrong, so wrong. You see that we are in the fourth wave of the COVID, and never have we seen increases in the COVID cases than this. And this is not the time. Nothing has actually changed with regard to the global effects of the COVID, where commodity prices are astronomically high, freight charges are high. Look at the Christmas. Goods and services were very expensive. So this is not the time for the government to think of reversing this benchmark value, which have been the last straw of hope for businesses. And so we will find it difficult for government to roll up this major policy in the wake of difficulties, and that we will plead with government to suspend it whilst we do the stakeholder engagement for us also to profess some solutions. We have some laudable solutions that government can also adopt to help government save. But if it should be that government is listening to just one side, maybe AGI, for government to rush into this is going to create even a serious problem for government itself.
The chairman of the Tema chapter of the Institute of Freight Forwarders, Johnny Mante, also shared similar sentiment a few weeks back.
It's not just me as a freight forwarder, but it's the ordinary person on the street. I mean, the trader basically would only have to look at its cost. It's just 1 + 1, which means that if I buy a product for $10, I come to port, I pay $4 as duty. I go to my warehouse, I pay my staff. It only adds on the domino effect. Like I said earlier on, it's the domino effect. So any addition in terms of duty, in terms of cost, they would push it to you and I. So basically that's what it is. It's you and I that's going to change the numbers within the country, the statistics of the country, the inflation, all the other indices that you can think of. That's what's going to happen. So we are still looking at government taking a closer look at the policy, and I'm sure, just like they are doing with the e-levy, they should take a closer look, engage, and then I think that we would have a better understanding, and they would actually take the entire benchmark value off, and then they will see the kind of money they will make from the positions that we've made.
On the way forward, Professor Peter Quartey, the head of the Economics Division at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, said more dialogue is needed to ensure a smooth application of the policy.
I think dialogue in this would be bringing the two parties together. There are local productions. There are firms that are producing locally, which are being hit by the benchmark value. So you want to address that issue. There are some areas where we don't produce enough and we rely on import, heavily on import. So you also want to protect that aspect. So that's why I believe, in my view, government is proposing to use selective application of this benchmark thing. That is not any company at all that is going to benefit from it. I believe there should be some dialogue in this respect to ensure that there is a win-win situation. But you cannot have one size fits all. Secondly, we ought to analyze the whole situation and see where we need to remove the benchmark values. We do so. Where we need to put in other measures to encourage the importation to fill in the